Welcome back to the show, Sonic Weekly. You made it. The show that comes out every 7 days or so about Sonic the Hedgehog, everything about the Blue, Blur, and Savior. My name is Grant, one of your hosts, and we've got with us, as usual, as always, the Rings of Saturn impresario, Bo. Hi, Bo.
Speed me up. Hey, this episode also will contain spoilers for movie 3, probably, and you know what? We're not going to be shy about spoiling movie 2 either, so if you haven't seen either of them, see that one. And if you haven't seen movie 1, really, what are you doing listening to this show?
Out of the shadows and into the spotlight, the star of the show and our lives, David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Whoa! Hi, Grant. Hi, Bo. Yep, that's right. I am in the spotlight. I guess I'm thinking about movies. I'm thinking about Sonic. Well, what if some random kid typed Sonic because he saw a trailer and this was the first result he stumbled across?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. That's why this young child hasn't watched Sonic 1, the film, because he didn't realize Sonic existed until he saw that. Whoa, two weeks #1 in America. That makes any 7-year-old get excited.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I was 7, I remember just could not wait to get those box office returns in, compare it to the production budget, got to factor in the marketing budget.
Right.
Got to factor that in because that's often a hidden cost.
They never tell you.
And then you've really got to think about the stakeholders and what are they really getting on the return for their investment. And, you just hope it was all worthwhile. Worthwhile is how we describe our guest, who is the host of SEGAbits. And we're happy to have him back on the show. It's Barry the Nomad. Hi, Barry.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I remember as a kid, we would talk about studio executives and like kids would excitedly bring their their dads would actually write out what the box office numbers were from I don't know. They had a phone number they'd call because we didn't have the internet.
Get one of those big candy cigars and play as okay, I'm the executive and I'm giving you notes, and you're like, oh, please,
It does just blow my mind that kids right now are legitimately talking about the CEO of Warner Brothers.
They have to grow up with Zaslav posters instead of
Michael Eisner.
Tom Kalinske.
Oh yeah,
our heroes of the 90s.
Tom Kalinske, right? He was part of that CEO trading card set. I remember that being passed around, but that got banned just like Pogs.
Yeah.
I never saw a Tom Kalinske Pog. I think that might have been just slightly off.
Pog Kalinske.
Right. Yeah, and of course the coolest kid was whoever's family had a subscription to Variety.
That's true.
Yes. Yeah. Barry, glad to have you on the show. We were recording this the day after you had me as a guest on your show,
yes,
which was very fun and exciting. We talked about the highs and lows of Sega from the Sonic perspective when I was hopping on for a few minutes on that segment. But we didn't get to talk too much about your opinion about movie 3. So we talked about that last week. We want to keep talking about it. Did you see movie 3? How many times? What did you think?
I have not seen it. No, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it more than once, which is wild. And I think it's the timing. The other two Sonic, the first Sonic movie, it was very difficult to go see it multiple times because theaters were closing. But movie 2, I managed to play a little hooky and sneak out and see it. My secret is the following week, there's those 9 a.m. shows. And so you'll book a doctor's appointment and just go see Sonic up until lunch and then head back home and start working again. But unfortunately, with this 2-week gap where, family's off and I'm off, but I can't really sneak out and see the movie, it's been difficult. And I'm looking at the showtimes next week and there's no 9 a.m. shows. So it's going to become difficult for me to sneak off. And I don't know why. I could go in the evening. It's not anyone keeps me from doing this, but for me, part of the thrill is to sneak off and see it at a really early showing in the middle of the week without asking permission from anyone.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I like doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, yeah, that feeling of playing hooky and it's kind of I'm an adult. I can do kid things if I want. I can be Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone 2. I can order a big cheese pizza.
Yeah.
You could theoretically get a limo
to
go take you to see Sonic movie 3. Just use a credit card without worrying about the consequences.
Yeah, I actually coincidentally was right next to, I went into Duncan's Toy Chest just last week. It's completely different on the inside, but
How's
on the
Duncan
outside,
doing
oh,
these
Mr.
days?
Duncan, he's not doing too well. He's all that money that he said he was given to the children's hospitals, he was
Yeah.
pocketing,
No.
and
Duncan.
now he's not doing well himself.
How old
So
is he? 110 or
he's probably not with us, but
He doesn't have the what Gerald has to keep him alive, which is the
Shadow
quill of Shadow
yeah.
the Hedgehog that
But
he continues to.
I won't spoil what's going to happen with the guy who made that cameo in the hotel, but I think big things are going to be happening there. But I did see movie 3, and I think I had trouble sleeping after seeing it because it was like so surreal. And then the next morning, I felt like I had a weird dream, and it was the plot of the movie.
Did you see a late showing? You saw a midnight showing? Maybe,
No,
or?
I saw a 3:00 showing.
Okay.
So I had a lot of time to process it, but like, it's just the next day, like I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. Because it just seems like a weird dream where you're like, yeah, they made a Sonic Adventure 2 movie that was like actually very faithful to the plot, but Gerald was still alive and he was 110 and he was played by Jim Carrey. And it was like watching the Clumps.
Yeah, and there's like a class you haven't gone to all semester, and now it's the final, and
and I've had dreams like that, so that's why it was like kind of normal for me, because I've had a dream that, and this was well before Sonic movie 1, that they made a Sonic Unleashed movie, and Robert De Niro played Professor Pickle, but they actually CG, like kind of like with the Alice in Wonderland movies, they like CG'd his facial characteristics.
Okay.
So he matched like the proportions of the game, but it was like a live action human with all of these manipulations. And so that's why it didn't surprise me that I not fully believe that Sonic 3 happened.
Yeah. You're used to doubting reality when it comes to Sonic.
Exactly. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Some of the weird things that, but
it sounds like a dream.
But overall, I really like the movie. It's surprising that they were able to go from 1 to 2 to 3 so naturally. I think some franchises, it really feels like the creative team behind the scenes are making a U-turn to be more faithful to the source material. And because of that, it doesn't seem natural. I think the X-Men movies they did that, and I think it was for the better, but still you watch like Days of Future Past and Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's like very clear that there are people behind the scenes pushing for more comic accurate characters and plots, and it doesn't gel with like the first few movies. Whereas here it's like, it makes sense to me that Gunn was existing all this time, and that Shadow was like in a tube during the first movie, and that Gerald was like alive in secret. So yeah, it was surprisingly natural progression.
Even compared to movies that aren't based on comic books, like it is, the Sonic series has found its footing really quickly in an unprecedented way, because even, people compare it to like what it could be, is maybe it's going to be like the Fast and the Furious franchise, where each movie adds a new friend or a new rival who becomes a friend, and then they become part of the family, and then it continues to grow. But the first 3 Fast and Furious movies, like, it takes a while for that series to figure out what it's doing. Arguably, it takes until Fast 5. Mission Impossible, same way. It's not really until Ghost Protocol where they're like, oh, this is what the series is. And it kind of builds on what's been before, but there was some very divergent things there. And then X-Men is a great example of like a trilogy where each movie is so different. The vibe of it is so different. Whereas here, each movie does feel like it's growing and it's building on, but like, it feels like it's building more than it is like getting bloated.
And the fact that people actually care about characters like Tom and Wade and Maddie by film 3, instead of being like, get them off the screen. And the fact that they utilized Tom especially to like give Sonic an anchor, just as Shadow has his human that he cares about. Like, they could have traded it in for like Tails, but I don't think it would have felt as real.
And they had just done Tails in movie 2, where Tails is knocked out, and then Sonic is angry when he goes to fight Knuckles and Robotnik.
Right. And plus, we know Tails isn't going to die, but Tom, there's a very good chance he could. And I think they even considered that.
Yeah. And we get more cool Tails moments as a result. Like Tom gets to, lay down.
Yeah.
And that's great. Good for Tom. And
He
then
does
Tails
get
gets
to-
cool moments.
Yeah. No one questioned those little pins on those little lapels. No one was like, what's that? That's not part of the uniform.
Oh, you mean when we had like the character posters and the trailer shots of nobody like foresaw that the face changing was going to be part of it?
Yeah, that was surprise. That was a big, I think actually of all the things in the film, that was the biggest surprise to me, was that Rachel and what's his name? The other guy.
Randall.
The guy. Randall. Rachel and Randall.
Randall Handel. They confirm
Right.
what was alluded to in movie 2, because they call him Agent Handel and we know his name is Randall. But here he says Randall Handel.
I didn't catch that. But yeah, it's just wild that they're not actually in the movie. So all those wiki pages for their characters will be like, film 3, like, doesn't count as an appearance. And there will be like a fight between the wiki editors. I'm sure David's mainly doing that in his free time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All I think about are wikis.
Are you on team appearance or team like cameo? What would you call that?
All right, well, right, it has to be a cameo because it's not really them. They're just you gotta list them. They are cast, they got posters, but you can't say right. I mean, we don't even know really if she's part of a gun or not, because apparently in the novelization they say, like, when Maddie becomes Rachel, the book says, oh yeah, they didn't know if she was a gun agent now or not, but they had her dress up as one. So it's like, oh, okay. Yes, because I'm sure you've read the novel as well, right?
Not yet. I've been meaning to order it, but it doesn't have an ending, so I don't know if it's like one of those European magazines where I need to like subscribe and I'll get a chapter every week for £2. That would be something. But I did go to the movie with my daughter. She's 7, and she actually wrote. I said, write like your 3 favorite things. So I have it written up here, and so I'm going to read her top 3 favorite things in the movie. It says number 3. I'll go backwards here. Sonic sang.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. I feel like we can do a better job of setting you up for this. Smoovies is going to drop in a great Sonic music bed underneath, maybe the special stage 2 music. Ooh. Well, actually, we're talking about Sonic 3, right? So it should be the Sonic 3 special stage music.
Yeah.
David's going to provide it.
Okay. And now the child's perspective, Barry's daughter.
Yeah.
The top 3 best moments from Sonic Movie 3. Number 3.
Number 3 is, and I don't have the line exactly, it's Sonic saying, oh, a very scary ball. And then he goes, very, very scary ball with the... She thought that was really funny. Yeah. That was her favorite line.
Yeah, that she's misremembering it, but that's okay. What he actually says is, that is actually scary, or something closer to that.
Right.
Yeah.
The kids love black holes. Got
it.
They
do. Number 2, Sonic and Shadow blasting off of the moon. So I think the super moment where they turned super and blasted off of the moon.
And I wonder if she means specifically the moment where it's a bit of a freeze frame of them posing.
It might be
after they blast off the moon, because
it might be. Yeah,
a lot of people would maybe perhaps rank that as their number 2. So I think she's got her finger on the pulse.
Right
now, number 1. Here's the big one. This is my number 1 moment too. It's Robotnik slapping his tummy.
I did like that moment a lot, especially when Doctor, we have company, and he goes, really? The way he delivers it, because it's like, obviously they're here and he's embarrassed himself.
I think she was proud too, because she's like, Daddy can do that. I can recreate that and have recreated that. So it's nice to finally have my body represented on screen after all of these DC and Marvel heroes
in such a positive way too.
Yeah, it's a body positive film too. I mean, when he dresses up, he really hides it, and I think that's kind of the goal for a lot of older men.
I if the second half of the 2020s introduced fashion that was inspired by the outfits worn by the Robotniks in Sonic Movie 3. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be upset by it.
My fingers are crossed for a Halloween costume because I did eye that Sonic 2 Halloween costume for quite some time of Robotnik, but now that I see this like spacesuit one, I'm really hoping that they like drop some HalloweenCostumes.com like $75 deluxe with the I don't know what those things are, the gold things that he has going down.
Yeah,
it's a weird costume. It always has been
is.
to me.
Yeah.
Are they buckles or are they? Because sometimes they're like computer buttons, right?
Oh, he pushes them.
Yeah, in Lost World, he pushes one and he
Yeah.
gets the wings or whatever, so he can fly away.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they were buttons.
So I also asked my 7-year-old what's his favorite moment from the movie, and he cited the crawling race when they're pinned to the floor between Robotnik and Kristen Ritter, and that was funny.
And Gerald's teeth pop out.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, the physical comedy. I mean, this is a man who's in his 60s.
And the gravity pinned to the floor thing is a pivotal moment in a Sonic Boom episode, so it felt fresh because we'd seen that recently in our household.
Was that a callback to anything? Like, I know there's stages that have gravity floors and ceilings, but
yeah, I thought it was kind of in the genre of, oh, we do this in Sonic 3 Death Egg Zone.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, I'd give the movie a thumbs up. I liked it. There's elements of Sonic 2 I actually like more. I like having the tornado on screen. I like the big Death Egg robot stomping around. I like the whole dynamic of Robotnik and Knuckles teaming up for a while because that's such a rare occurrence in the franchise. I mean, we I don't think we've ever. I don't know how Sonic Underground did it. I don't think they did it, but it's
they barely
just,
drew Knuckles correctly.
Right, but it's just in like narrative Sonic fiction on screen. It's very rare that we get that dynamic because it's either already being adapted, like when Sonic and Knuckles are friends, or they just kind of gloss over it and they don't really appropriately do it.
It's
now
Triple Trouble, and it's like, oh, we got to put Knuckles in here.
Yeah,
he's the water boss.
Exactly. So I really appreciated that, and so here, they're just buddies now. But I like when they don't get along. But yeah, so that's my take on it.
Good take. What about what didn't you like?
What didn't I like? I thought some scenes dragged on a little bit. The dance scene, the gravity scene, the fight scene between the two Robotniks. But I've only seen the movie once, so if I see it again, it could be that those scenes go a lot faster because, in the moment of seeing a movie, you're like, how long is this going to Oh, it ended, But if I go in there and I'm like, I know this, I know the beginning and ending of this scene, it's not going to faze me so much. But I know some people didn't like the nanobot fight between the two of them, but I really liked it because it kind of gave me vibes of like during the boss battles when there's like appendages or extensions to Robotnik that he fights with. I almost kind of wish they went further and they gave us like the wrecking ball. Like maybe he would build classic boss vehicles around himself.
That would be cool. There's still kind of like some classic, and I don't mean classic Sonic, but just like some long lasting Sonic imagery. For example, I mean, he does run around in London, but he doesn't actually run through a loop since the very beginning of movie 1. And then Eggman as well hasn't really been in vehicles since movie 1.
Right. And I think, that would be
movie 2. He's got the Eggmobile.
Yeah.
One of my negatives is that there's no Eggmobile, there's no tornado. And I really like those things in movie 3. Yeah. And so, the fact that was his main mode of transport for both of them was really cool.
Yeah.
But now it's just kind of like ring portal. But apparently they're out of rings. So we'll see.
What did you guys think of the subverted fight between Knuckles and Sonic? It really looks like they're going to come to fisticuffs over using the emerald, and then Knuckles backs down. And that was the only moment where I thought like, oh man, I really wanted that.
Well, you need to see the Knuckles series to understand why Knuckles has grown as a character.
Oh, you think I haven't seen the Knuckles series?
It's required viewing.
Well, you've seen it, but you haven't like seen it like I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
I kind of like it on the basis of viewing it in the context of the Knuckles show, actually, though, because it is Knuckles getting moments of showing that he does have wisdom in addition to being like naive, which they play that beat a lot.
Mhm.
But he gets moments where he's like in the Knuckles show, because he's paired with Wade, who's much goofier than Knuckles, he gets to like look wise occasionally. And then yeah, it's fun to see the different sides of his character. So I wasn't like, oh, they skipped out on a fight. I thought like, oh, that's a cool win moment for Knuckles as a character. But I did think that there was you could feel some of the pacing issues. Like we talked a little bit about how Live and Learn, you kind of want you want that to like have its full space.
Mhm.
Like I didn't mind cutting back to the Jim Carrey Robotniks, and I don't think Sonic fans should fumble Jim Carrey, which it almost feels like if you look online too much, that fans are like starting to get too anxious about like, oh, is there too much Jim Carrey? Is Jim Carrey ruining the franchise? No, Jim Carrey is like kind of one of the pillars carrying, and the Robotnik stories are very good in the way that they were, that they brought Gerald into the present. I thought was all interesting, which is to say, maybe the Robotnik family is growing before our very eyes.
Whoa.
Because it's possible that Professor Victoria, so the thing that was teased in movie 3 and teased in Tails Tube, you know what? I'm going to hand this off to David, who can explain it a lot better.
Yeah, that's right. Whoa, hot off the press of the Sonic Stadium, care of Sonic YouTube, care of, hey, Sonic Stadium's turning 25 this year. That's exciting for them. Yeah, that's right. This was teased all the way back in the very first Tails Tube, which came out in March of 2022, so even before Frontiers. There was a drawing of a lady with some pink hair. She became the pink-haired girl. Didn't see anything of her until, whoa, there she is in Sonic Movie 3 with a date. It was 12/30/2024. What does that date mean? I guess it didn't mean anything, but the day after, we got it. We got a brand new Tails Tube bringing in the new year. Tails calls all his friends in Shadow, and apparently he's purchased a book called The Mystery of History, written by one Professor Victoria. That's right. Professor Victoria. She's a published author, and that's what's led to a lot of speculation. Like, is she part of the Robotnik lineage? Because they've made such a big deal about Gerald's two sons, and one was into robotics, and one was into archaeology. And, historians, archaeologists, it all seems to tie together. And still not in a game, still don't know what she's meant to do, but this is a slow burn. And I want to know what that book's about. The history of what? Is she just
the mystery of history?
Like, is she just going, you don't really think about what history is a lot of the time.
Maybe it's just like in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Or did he? And it's just like that throughout.
Right.
Do you think the Sonic universe has a hardcore history with like a anthropomorphic animal, Dan Carlin?
Well, I think probably, because there's radio in the comics. In the IDW comics, there's the Radio Rooster. Or is
Radio Rooster. That's his name.
Radio Rooster is a new character. OC, Do Not Steal. They have the Night Owl.
Yeah,
he's
an owl,
Sonic
and then
Boom
there's
has
his
Sora the Eagle.
His
He's
life
like
partner. Who is he with? Is that his friend, or is that
his good friend?
His very good friend.
His roommate.
Right, because they seem to be living in an RV together. And I mean, if you're just working with someone, you don't live in an RV with them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
What's interesting about this pink-haired lady, though, you got to look at like where she's appeared and who's been making her appear in these things. And obviously, with Tails Tube, you have Tyson and Ian both involved. With the Sonic movie, you have Tyson involved, and with the Robotnik Journal, or the Gerald Robotnik Journal, you have Ian involved. So it's clear that they're collaborators on this, that Tyson did the character design, that Ian probably thought up the character and has plans for it. And so it's all kind of interconnected there. And the character is clearly important enough to like put in the movie as a tease, which leads me to think that it's likely to be either appearing in a upcoming game, but maybe spin-off like Crossworlds, or it could be a character that appears in IDW once they get past like some major milestone and they need to introduce new villains or humans or something. The IDW comics have been oddly avoiding the whole human element, and yet Sonic and Shadow Generations kind of opened that door a little bit with Gerald, Maria, and those notes written by these unseen humans. So that's my take on it.
Have they ever done anything like this where it's setting something up a couple of years in advance in across media? No, right?
No.
Imagine if they'd done this for Professor Gerald. If there was
Professor Pickle.
Or Professor Pickle.
That's right. Professor Pickle.
Where there was, like how many years has this been going? A couple, right? It's been at least 2 years since that first
2022, yeah.
Yeah. So over 2 years.
What were some of the early guesses of what her, because I actually think people were pretty quickly right on the money that like, oh, she's going to be a Robotnik, which we don't know still, but it's just, Professor Victoria, that could be her last name, but Professor Gerald is Professor Gerald Robotnik. So it seems like it's maybe following that naming convention rather than Professor Pickle, but Pickle is his last name. So
I'm wondering if her name came out of the mystery woman name because it's Miss Tori.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Whoa.
I get it.
Like they're like, oh, mystery woman, Miss Tori, Professor Tori, Professor Victoria.
In the
Miles
Sonic movie.
Tails Prower.
Miles, right. Professors don't like using their last names. Okay, so in the Sonic movie, on that billboard, she is slightly animated, right? Like she moves a little bit. So my thinking is that maybe she won't be introduced in a game. She might get introduced in a Tails tube. That might be like her VTuber model. Because I think somebody had theorized, is that ad meant to be like in the Sonic universe, that's a Japanese VTuber, which I don't read Japanese. I didn't double check to see if that is the case or not with the other random text around her.
Right.
But if she is moving in that sort of way, and we know Tyson is Tails Tube is basically his thing visually, and there were elements of Tails Tube in Sonic 2, the movie, Tails' desktop. There's shared elements, and that was done on purpose because it's both Tyson. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's already a VTuber model ready to go of her, and we might, like, if Tails is going on the road, as the Tails Tube says, that we meet her, so by the time she does show up in a game, she's already an established entity, and we don't necessarily need to be introduced to her properly in said game.
I think you may have hit on it, though. Like, there's been rumors recently of an animated show in the works to succeed Sonic Prime. What if she's in that? What if that's the venue?
It just seems like such a strange buildup for any character. I'm hoping that it's. I don't know. My initial guess was like, oh, she's going to be like Dodonpa was for Team Sonic Racing, but she'll be like the catalyst for the multiversal shenanigans in Crossworlds. You know, her archaeology, or she's connected to the Frontiers follow-up, and it continues to be about both the origin of the Emeralds and the world, and also the Robotnik family, because Sage is added to the family and Eggman becomes a father in Frontiers, but it's also about the ancients, and so it's about, life finding a way in different ways.
The mystery of history is how everybody became modern from their classic forms, and nobody thinks that's weird.
Yes, this is the book that finally details how did the comic do it? It was a satellite microwave emission.
Sonic had to run really fast using the power of a super emerald to basically unstick Knothole from being 3 hours in the future, which by its...
you should license that from Ken Penders for the movies. Only the concept that Knothole is 3 hours in the future. Yeah.
Right. Well, if you change the characters, no. Right, and so that's how he gets the green eyes and the buckles, which is also like, why would his shoes change? I don't understand. And then Amy changed because she made a wish on the Ring of Acorns, which she did right before they were going to use that ring to restore King Acorn, or something. Or King Acorn was like, is he dying? No, it was the mother. Sorry, it's Queen Alicia.
Alicia.
King Acorn was alive and fine, just being an asshole, because that's what he was. Yeah.
Real quick, while we're here in this little area, Archie Tangent. They should license from Ken Penders. Everybody has to say something. Okay, they should license from Ken Penders. Enerjack, dude, freaking Enerjack, the Knuckles Echidna villain, was super fun, and he's got the mask, that like crab mask, and like this sort of like Egyptian god thing. I think it was Patrick Spaziante that designed him. Right? I'm sure it wasn't.
I think so.
Sure, it wasn't Ken. He
did the classic image of him using the emerald powers, right?
Yeah,
laughing maniacally.
Yes.
And so, how do you make that fit into the Wade universe? Is that Knuckles is getting possessed by Enerjack? No, Enerjack possesses Pachacamac. He's a ghost.
You're right.
You know what? I don't know. It's not my job to figure it out.
Well, maybe
we'll hire a screenwriter.
It could just be like the Zacharies, or the Dr. Zachary, or the other one, the other white echidna, where it's just like, I'm hanging out, I somehow survived, I'm evil, it's fine.
Yeah, the Gerald explanation. I was here the whole time.
That's right. Or it could be the comic one where he was just sealed in a mountain, and then one day he broke out of the mountain.
Yeah. Okay, jokes aside, serious answer, sleuth doggy dog.
It's gonna be mine. Oh man,
damn it! Sorry, Bo. Okay, that's
the most obvious one, because then you can also get Snoop Dogg to voice him in the movie.
Damn, that is what we're missing.
Yeah, I feel like that could happen too. Anyway, okay,
right. Other Penders creations. It's like, well, who else is there?
Yeah,
Dr. Quack.
Dr.
Quack in there.
Dr. Quack is good.
Yeah.
Does he have any humans? Was the Iron Queen? No, that was not Ken.
What about some of the characters exclusive to the off-panel comics?
Oh, the ones actually based,
like Deadline,
Justin Gabri. Just bring him in.
Or Black Stage.
What about the Down Under Freedom Fighters?
Yeah. Or how about what is it? The underwater ones they're called, like the underwater, or the really down under.
Down under. Okay, let's see.
Octopus.
Right, he made a lot of characters. I mean, Laura Sue, I guess, would be the most obvious one. Just bring her in. She could still be.
Well, that's when you want to like really expand, because then it becomes the Laura Sue cinematic universe.
Right. Jeffrey St. John. Why not?
Sure.
The movie needs like a heel.
Yeah,
root against.
All right.
Well, anyway, enough of that. That was pointless and stupid. Let's do a pivot by which I mean we will check in with Rings of Saturn. After we do that, onto the Mad Libs.
Yes.
Whoa.
All right, Rings of Saturn. Hey, are you guys at all in tune with the Sega franchise Sakura Wars?
Heard of it?
Yes.
Are you? Okay. Well, I'm not at all, but I can read code better than I can read Japanese, and all four of these games, they have cheat codes that were undiscovered for years, like all the years until now. I don't know. Now I can navigate the menus and see the movies directly rather than trying to fumble my way through actually playing it. So that was my New Year's thing. But then for Christmas, I did a little dive into a Dreamcast game that has a tangential connection to Sonic in that it's got TJ Davis and Richard Jocks, Metropolis Street Racer.
Yes.
Which that's an all-time demo disc for me.
Yeah.
And true to form, I took one of the demo discs, which has a very early build of the game, and you're not supposed to be able to control it. You just like watch the cars peeling out through London, getting kudos in the game system. It's got the game engine. It's not like a movie. And so I convinced the game to let me actually play it, and it's kind of cool. They got like, you can leave the track and just like tool around the city, and all the buildings look very cool when you're on the track, but then as soon as you're off the track, it's just like a paper facade. And the music is different, the menus are different, the car list is different. If I knew about cars, maybe some of that would be significant to me, but I don't know anything about cars.
Nothing at all?
I'm on
You
a.
don't know anything about the Ford F-150?
I don't think they had an F-150 in there.
That's the only car you know, David.
Right.
That's the only car I know. That's adorable.
I've driven an F-350, which is a very, very large truck.
Right.
Yeah.
There were trackers. Remember trackers? That's like a 90s car. It's like that little... I had a tiny toy Matchbox Hot Wheels tracker.
One thing I knew about Metropolis Street Racers, they had an unlock for a widescreen mode where the game was like anamorphic.
Oh.
So you had to like complete some sort of, gameplay elements to unlock the ability to play the game in 16:9. But I don't think many
funny.
Dreamcast games did that.
Just in the menu on this early version.
Oh, really?
Turn it on right there.
Yeah.
No.
Can I make a toss, a ring toss onto the rings of Saturn? Now that I have acquired a Saturn and a Saru,
Optical drive emulator.
Yes, thank you. The number one thing I've been enjoying the most about the Saturn is just being able to like very quickly change between games. But I wanted to give a particular shout out to a game that I have been enjoying, which I don't know if you know much about. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I haven't really Googled if Rings of Saturn has done a post about RoboPit.
RoboPit, yeah.
Really, really fun. It is, you have
kind of a build your own robot, fight him kind of thing. Yeah.
But very quickly, you select a head, a body, legs, two weapons for arms, and then you're just bashing and fighting up the ranks. So Ashlyn 2000, my robot, is currently ranked number 67, fighting our way up. But it's a really, really cool game if you can play it somehow.
Well, by buying a Saturn and doing what you did.
Yeah, I don't know if it may not be an expensive one.
I didn't find anything hidden in it, which is always a disappointment to me. Is that one on the PlayStation also?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. I think there might be a sequel.
There is.
Yeah.
RoboPit 2.
Whoa.
Return to the Pit.
Return. It should have been it. Is that... Oh.
I was at the grocery store the other day, and the bagger was talking to the checker, and the checker was not really into the discussion, but the bagger was insistent that the checker watch this show about fighting robots. And the checker was kind of blowing off, but then he looked at me and said, like, sounds like BattleBots to me. And I was like, yes, I remember 1999 Comedy Central.
This game, RoboPit, is BattleBots. That is like the best comparison for it is just exactly BattleBots with a little bit more of googly eyes.
My former, not former, I don't know him anymore, but he was my best friend when I was growing up. His dad actually was on BattleBots and wrote a lot of books about building robots that fight.
Wow.
Which is kind of weird. He also wrote a lot of books about making your own ballistics in the backyard, like using potato cannons and catapults and trebuchets and all those things.
He also wrote the Anarchist Cookbook.
But yeah, so I part of BattleBots history.
Wow.
Okay, very good. Rings of Saturn. We have a sound effect. I hope. Maybe.
That was it. That's the sound that the rings make when you Sonic would know he's flown past them.
Yeah.
One thing before we leave is I'm working on, in a couple of weeks I'll have this up, but it's 2025, which is the year that Sega Gaga is set. Sega Gaga being the very meta RPG that came out in Japan for the Dreamcast about Sega failing and losing share of the console market and struggling to maintain a position against the evil Dogma Corporation, which is very thinly veiled Sony. And it's real weird. You've got to get classic Sega characters to be like programmers for your game. Sonic appears with tan legs, animated by Toei. Ristar appears, Knights appears, Astol appears.
Wow.
It's a trip.
Whoa. That's the super game.
If you ever burn it or own it, the best thing to do is download a 99% completed save file, and they exist, because then you can just play the final stage, which is a shmup where you fly an R360 and fight Sega consoles. It's great. No translation necessary.
I got some hacks incoming that are going to make
Whoa.
this happen.
Hell yeah.
That's exciting. So what sort of programming does Alex Kidd know? Do you think he'd be good at maintaining a wiki? This is just asking for a friend.
That'd be a miracle world
Yes.
where he's editing a wiki.
So, right, you said before we go, you meant like before we leave orbit. You got to use your catchphrases.
Before we leave the orbit, I want to say Sega Gaga. Hey, that's a thing that exists. And this is the year of Sega Gaga.
Right.
And there's one on Saturn, but that's a different one.
Not Sega Gaga.
Not Sega Gaga, but
Just called Gaga.
not Gaga.
Gugu?
I think that's what it is. I think it's called Gugu.
It's a baby fighting game.
It's Sagata Sanshiro.
That's a fantastic one. It's a mini game compilation.
All right.
Yes,
and
that was pretty cool.
And there's also a Dreamcast game that was a contest starring the what was he, like the head of marketing or whatever? He was in those early commercials for the Dreamcast. He was kind of like their Segata. He's like this depressed businessman in glasses. He died a few years ago.
A real human being.
A real human being.
Bernie Stoller?
No, he was a Japanese man. And
right.
You would go around and dig in a garden, and then you'd find pieces, and then you'd build puzzle pieces. And then once you found a full piece, you would send something into Sega, either via email or physically. I don't really remember how it worked. And then you would be entered into a contest to win the thing you dug up in the game.
Oh.
And it was a limited giveaway. I think it was a free disc.
He also appears in one of the Shenmue previews. Where
he's in What's Shenmue.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've got to like rescue him from the toughs in the arcade.
Yeah, it's great.
Sega clearly missed a trick by not releasing a Tom Kalinske Genesis card.
Yeah. And a Bernie Stoller, at least demo disc with the official Dreamcast magazine.
You know, Bernie Stoller does appear in a Sega game, World Series Baseball 98, there were some new teams added to the major leagues around there. I want to say Arizona and someone else. And they didn't know the real roster, so they put Sega people in it. And I remember B. Stoller. Hey, I know who that is.
Yeah. I just remember him in the magazine lead up to the Dreamcast being like, wow, this guy is not afraid to say that the Saturn sucks.
How rude of him. If he subscribed to the Rings of Saturn, he'd probably downvote every article because it's about the Saturn. Right.
I should say it was Hidekazu Yukawa, and he was the senior managing director of Sega during the Dreamcast era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he has a name.
They did kind of think it was funny around then to like put a salaryman in a strange position. Like there's a Saturn game called Anarchy in the Nippon where you've got like a middle-aged salaryman fighter. It's like a Virtua Fighter kind of thing. Spoof.
That's right.
That's fun.
Right. We should just hang out with cranky mid-40s Japanese businessmen. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that does sound good. You know what else sounds good is let's do it. Let's just jump into it. 1, 2, 3, freaking jumping into it.
Splash.
Mad Libs. Barry, you've got Mad Libs. We're game.
All right.
We don't. Yeah, and we don't. You also have. I see that you have not only the multiple Dreamcasts, but you've got the Virtuon sticks.
I have, but set up behind me, I have my black Dreamcast, my white Dreamcast, my white Saturn, and the coveted white Wii. And the black Wii U.
The black Wii U.
That's the Zelda one.
You have a great CRT TV that I used to have that I really miss.
Yeah, it's the 27-inch Sony Wega.
Wow.
And it has component inputs, which are great. I love component, and it has S-Video. Yeah, it's my baby. It's my little baby boy.
Right. Your first child?
Yeah, I guess so.
Older than 7, certainly.
But yeah, I have the twin sticks set up. I have the keyboard and the mouse there. I was downloading the Sonic Adventure game saves a few nights ago. So good times.
So you were browsing the web
I
on
was.
on the Dream.
Using the Dream Passport.
Wow.
There's a website that will convert websites into visitable pages for your Dreamcast. So I go to
Yeah.
modern sites and get to see like really low tech, low res, like text only versions. It's great.
Oh man.
Rings of Saturn is syndicated by Sega Saturn Shiro website, and they have a proxy that will downgrade the website for a Saturn Netlink web browser. Yeah, people these days want to view the internet on really low tech hardware.
It's fun. Nothing like it.
I miss it. I've mentioned before that for the year 2000, that was the only ISP in our home for a bit because I was the only one really using what was the family computer.
Mhm.
Had really just become my computer. And then I guess I was presented with the choice and I was like, well, it's more important to have the Dreamcast online, which has a browser anyway. So I'll figure it out.
Right. You have to go to Deja News if you want to read the news groups, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's painful. Oh, well, you should have gotten like web TV, right? People loved web TV back in the day. You can look at the internet on your television.
I did not like web TV because my neighbors had it, and I always had to go over there and help them because they would hit the wrong, like, change input on their television and then couldn't get it back.
Oh.
Oh,
So you'd always have to switch over, and then you could see what website they were looking at.
I looked into, like, can I get like a RF remote that will go from my house to theirs, and I can just hit the button.
well, hey, I got Mad Libs.
You got Mad
let's-
Libs.
Let's go crazy. So I have Sonic 1, 2, and 3. We're going to stick to 3. And because we were talking about BattleBots, I've got one here. It's how to build a mech.
Oh, heck yeah.
So what I will do now, and maybe we can go round robin. Looking at my screen, we can go like David, Bo, Grant, David, Bo, Grant.
Oh, God.
So if you need to Google what these adjective and noun and verb mean, maybe do that now.
Right, I always forget.
I always forget too.
Mad Libs.
For dummies.
Right, Mad Lib word categories. Let's do this.
So I'm going to call on David first. And this is easy because all I need to know from you is a place.
A place in the heart, or let's say Tokyo. Yeah.
Good. You're one of those guys that it's like, if it's Sonic, I'm going to give you the word blue, Tom Wachowski, Tokyo, and it's going to be funny.
Well, wait, which movie is this from? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
Oh, this is the 3? Okay, never mind. Let's not do Tokyo. Let's do
Tokyo.
Tokyo. I already said it.
You got it. All right. Next up for Bo, I need an adjective.
Adjectives. Boring.
All right. Like this. Like this is. For Grant, I need a noun.
For the noun, I would like to input berry, please.
You got it.
Ooh.
David, I need a verb.
Oh, that's an action verb, like singing, right? That's an action.
Is it singing? Verb, I think it's just sing, right?
Sing.
Verb
Is
with
it
an
just
ing
sing?
that you'll... Yeah. So it's sing.
It's a gerund.
Because they'll also ask for ing when necessary.
Okay. Look, I remember Schoolhouse Rock. I got an English degree.
Next, we need a noun from Bo.
Schoolhouse.
Right, there you go. And then we need an animal from Grant.
For the animal, I would like to submit the idea of a bear.
Bear.
Whoa.
Now we need a celebrity from David.
Oh God, who is the most famous celebrity in the entire world? I'm gonna say Jojo Siwa.
Good one. All right. Now, next up, I need a person you know, Bo.
David the Lurker.
Ah!
All right. This will get silly now.
Uh-oh.
You can't let us down on this one. We need a type of liquid.
Okay, wait. Is that
for
me?
Grant.
No, that's Grant.
Oh,
Right.
a type of liquid.
There's so many to choose from.
Gotta pick a funny one.
Yeah. And what's a funny one would be Sonic G Fuel. Peach.
There you go.
Peach ring.
Peach flavored. Okay.
All right, I'll write the whole thing out. And people can save 20% on their order with the promo code SEGAbits.
Is that true?
That is true.
All right.
Does that just last forever? Or
What, G Fuel? The powder lasts a long time. The cans.
no,
for
the
about a year.
promo code. How
Oh,
long?
the promo, it's ongoing until they take me away. But I'm good. I'm good at what I do.
Okay.
David, I need a plural noun.
A pile of a plural noun because it's a pile of crescent rolls.
Like Pillsbury ones?
Yeah, that's the only kind.
That's true.
A staple of every American Thanksgiving.
Bo, I need a number.
17.
That is a number. That's true. You win.
Mhm.
I need a noun from Grant.
For the noun, I would like to submit the word berry. BERRY.
Ooh,
BERRY, like the fruit?
like a fruit.
That's right.
All right, great.
We don't know what kind of berry.
We have 3 more. So we need a plural noun
Plural noun.
from David.
Yeah, a Sonic the Hedgehog collector's cup available at all fine AMCs.
Cups.
All right, there you go.
Yes,
From AMC.
cups. Many
Sonic
cups.
Collector's Cups from AMC. Perfect. And now, Bo, I need a verb ending in ing.
Jumping.
Jumping. The funniest thing you can do, jumping. And then an adjective from Grant.
For an adjective, I would like to submit the word blue.
Blue. Very good. That's what Sonic fans call themselves, blues.
Whoa, right.
All right, so here we go. How to build a mech. Does taking over the world or taking over Tokyo
Uh-oh.
sound like fun?
Hey.
If so, you'll need a boring mech
Ha.
to serve as your berry command center.
Okay.
It's important to be able to sing from the comfort of your own war room.
That's true.
Here's how to get started. Choose a design for your mech. A schoolhouse or a bear. Or perhaps the face of Jojo Siwa.
Oh, no.
That would be
bear.
pretty epic. I'd like to see a bear with Jojo Siwa's face.
Listeners, don't let us down. SonicWeeklyPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, send the fan art in. Work with a famed mech architect, David, the lurker, to create one that can operate from the air or the ground or while submerged in Sonic Peach Ring's G Fuel. Use titanium crescent rolls so that you are 17% protected from having any berry missiles or energy Sonic collector's cups from AMC's blasted at you.
Yeah, those could be weapons.
They could be. Well, they have been in some theaters. I've seen the fights that break out. Decorate your mech with colors that will bring out your best scheming and jumping skills.
Okay.
That's a little silly.
Nailed that one.
Follow these simple steps, and your mech will go from cold and calculating to cozy and delightfully blue.
Wow.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Well done.
Do we have one more in us?
I think so. Yeah. I
All
think
right, all right.
that was a warm up. Now we're ready to.
Now we remember what the
Remember the parts of speech.
parts of
So-
speech, right? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, pronouns, adverbs.
I feel like
Celebrities.
so. There's different ones here. Burritos by Stone is kind of speaking to me.
Yeah.
I think, follow your instinct.
It's
there.
another kind of listicle, but it's how I bet you can guess what Burritos by Stone will be. So let's kick it off, and we'll go even faster on this one, so the silly words get out. First off, we need a noun from David.
A silly goose.
Those are the silliest geese. Bo, we need an adjective.
I guess silly is taken. How about wacky?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, this is already
Now we're
off
on
to
a
a
roll.
much funnier start.
Grant, we need a noun.
For noun, I would like to submit Joker.
Ooh,
Oh,
that.
he's a funny one.
he is a funny guy. Type of
jokes.
food, David, plural.
Oh, the type of food? Oh, of course. Plural? Oh. So that wouldn't count beverages, right? It's just
Anything,
food.
I guess. You can consume it.
Right. Well, first thing, what's funny? Soda milk.
Soda milk.
Yeah,
Plural.
Soda
So soda
milks.
milks.
Yeah, it's soda and milk, and you pour it together. Soda milk.
Yeah, there we go. We got it. Plural noun from Bo.
Jesus.
Jesus?
Cheeses, but either would be
Jesus.
funny.
Oh, because I was like, Jesus, the
Jesus.
funniest.
Jesus is
Jesus.
a color from Grant.
I would like to submit the color known as silver.
Ooh. Oh, is this going to be a subtle hint at the future of the franchise? David, type of food.
Oh,
You're a food boy.
I guess I am. Let's see. Deep fried Oreos.
All right. I'll say deep fried Oreo. Keep it
One single deep fried
single.
Oreo.
an adjective, Bo.
Chili.
Nice. Like outside, chilly.
Yeah, like
Right.
the weather.
I'm feeling
in the
chilly.
winter.
Oh, yeah, chili dogs.
Let's see. A noun, Grant.
Yes. Chili.
Nice. There we go. A plural part of the body, David.
Good. No. I was like, what rhymes? Because I was like, chili, Willie. Oh, maybe I don't know about that.
I don't think Willie's.
Willie's.
Echidnas.
Plural. Wait, what was it again?
Or-
Plural. Wait,
Plural part of the body in plural.
part of the body in plural. We'll say fingers, but you have to type it fingies
Fingies.
because it's got to be
All right.
wacky.
There
Fingies.
we go.
Fingies.
God.
A plural noun from Bo.
Ooh, fires.
Fires. All right. A type of liquid from Grant.
The type of liquid I would like to submit is gasoline.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
funny every time.
That is. Wow. Likes drinking oil and gasoline.
I like it because you're cracking up, Bo, but you're also muted, so it's like it's also it doesn't sound like it. But Bo's laughing, I assure you.
David, a plural part of the body again. You're a body boy.
Okay. Molars.
All right, we got it. Adjective from Bo.
Impacted.
Nice. And
Wow.
this is the big one now. A silly word from Grant, and they want a silly word.
The silly word that I would like to submit is okay. Can it be two words? Can it be like a phrase, a short phrase?
Sure.
The short phrase I'd like to submit is buried alive.
Mm,
Oh.
all right.
Very funny when you're
Buried alive. That is so silly. Plural noun, David.
Oh god, there's more. I thought it was over. Okay,
We're almost
plural.
done.
Fire hydrant.
And then finally, we need a place from Bo.
Westopolis.
Nice.
The funniest place in Sonic.
They're finally going to Sonic's world in Burritos by Stone. All right, here we go.
All right.
Hola, everyone. It's me, Agent Stone. Dr. Robotnik's right hand silly goose.
That's what he calls them in private.
He is a super fan of my wacky burritos, ready to make them for the special Joker in your life. Just follow this recipe. Whip up homemade guacamole using my secret ingredient, soda milks.
God.
You have to make this, by the way, after the show and eat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Make a batch of salsa using garden fresh cheeses. Okay.
Straight from the garden.
Prepare other burrito fillings such as corn, silver rice, spicy deep fried Oreo flavored beans,
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
chipotle chili, but like cold. I think something's going on here. Anyway, place these place these
Do they get shifted?
chili fixins in a drone, fill a tortilla, and use 2 fingies to roll the burrito tightly. All right, now we're moving. Cut in half, sprinkle with shredded fires, and serve with a glass of gasoline. Well, that's not good. Sprinkle with fire and serve with gasoline.
Hey, it's Robotnik. It's Sad AM Robotnik.
It is
Yeah.
true. He likes
Drink
pain.
it.
Enjoy as everyone rubs their molars and exclaims, "These taste impacted." Or, "Buried alive. These are the most delicious fire hydrants in all of Westopolis."
Oh boy.
So that's the
These
new
were some
2025
mad
slang. Buried alive.
Hi.
So there you go.
Feels right.
There you go. And I highly recommend this Mad Libs book. There's spoilers for the movie.
Oh.
I warned at the top of the show.
Yeah, the laser room is in this. And this was before the movie came out to the public. So I was
Oh.
reading about the laser room.
Is there one like, I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, and I nouned Sonic in space?
Well, there actually is a whole thing about Shadow growing up with Maria and Gunn. And there's a whole thing on director Rockwell.
Oh,
There's a whole bit about the holograms. You can change your appearance.
right.
Gun headquarters with the laser room and the gravity room. That's all in here.
Does it confirm the nature of Shadow and Maria's
Yes,
relationship is that they're siblings?
100%. It's all in here.
Okay. Why are they holding hands in the meadow?
Because they are friends.
Okay.
That's what it says here.
Oh.
So that's Sonic 3 Mad Libs.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, I mean, I think that freaking wraps it up. David, is there any last anything? Bo?
Wait, what's that sound? Is that the dulcet tones of Empire City?
Oh,
I think it
yeah,
might
you're
be.
right. That's right.
Can you say anything after dulcet besides tones?
Calves.
There was a Mad Libs where it says dulcet, blank. You'd say adjective, and that adjective that I would write is, of course, hey, you just listened to another episode of Sonic Weekly. That's right. Yeah, it's 2025, baby. Brand new year, brand new times, brand new Sonics? Hey, I guess we're gonna get something brand new. They wouldn't give us no Sonic. We are riding high off the crest of the film. What games are we getting? I forget if Crosswinds comes this year. Is there even a year at that teaser trailer? I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Forget about it. You want to join us in this year of Sonic 2025? It's not the year of Shadow anymore. It's the year of Sonic Weekly? I don't know. But if you want to see what's going on in the year of Sonic Weekly, you got to subscribe to this podcast using your podcatcher of choice, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or for the Android faithful podcast addict. Download it today. Trademark. Of course, give us a rating, give us a review, let us know how you're feeling. But if you reject all podcatchers, we are, of course, over on YouTube at Sonic-Weekly, where you can hear these shows accompanied by visuals recorded by friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. Last episode, just Sonic and Tails going in a circle. Sonic Jam. Perhaps the best gameplay footage we've yet put up there. You can like, comment, and subscribe. I guess gotta say, because it's YouTube. Fine. You can reach out to the show, of course. We've got that email address, sonicweeklypodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you're thinking. Got any suggestions of what we could talk about? We do the mailbag.
Yeah, we do have a mailbag for, not right now, but we do have a mailbag. So send more and we'll open it at some point.
Let's fill that bag, and then we'll pour it out, and we'll go through it. But if you want to join our online community, you gotta send us an email as well. You get a link to our Discord server, where you can talk to like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about many things, including, but not limited to, Sonic the Hedgehog. And if you want to support this show a bit more than just doing all that subscribing, we do have a Ko-fi. We're just Sonic Weekly over there. You can throw in a one-time tip, or you can become a $5 executive producer, which, of course, will thank all of them. They're listed in the description below. Do that. You also get some extra goodies from wife of the Grant, Ashlyn, which I feel like I've forgotten to say the last couple times. They're still married, folks.
Folks.
That's right. Hey, so
Folks, State of the Union is strong.
that's right. If you can, that helps offset the cost of production and hosting. But if you can't, that's fine too. Just listening is joy enough. Gotta thank Smoovies for the edit. Thank once again our guest, Barry T. Nomad,
Thank you.
riding high on the SEGAbits Express. And of course, just like I always do, I can't forget to thank Bo and/or Grant. No, it's always and Grant. Why? Thank you both. Thank you
Got him.
for being here and starting 2025 looking strong and sharp. Woo.
Thank you. Wow. Wow. Thank you, David. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.